Around 287 BC, in the powerful Greek city of Syracuse, on the island of Sicily, Archimedes is born into a world where mathematics, astronomy, and engineering are beginning to merge into a new kind of knowledge. His father, Phidias, is known as an astronomer, placing Archimedes at the intersection of observation and calculation from the very beginning. As a young man, Archimedes travels to the intellectual center of Alexandria in Egypt, where the greatest minds of the Greek world gather to study mathematics, geometry, and science. There, he connects with scholars like Conon of Samos, forming relationships that will shape his thinking and push his work far beyond traditional boundaries. When he returns to Syracuse, he becomes closely tied to the court of Hero II, serving not as a soldier or politician, but as a problem solver whose mind becomes one of the city's greatest assets. Hiero understands that knowledge can strengthen a kingdom just as much as armies, and Archimedes is given the freedom to explore, test, and build. One day, the king presents him with a challenge that seems impossible. A golden crown that must be tested for purity without melting it down or damaging its shape. The problem requires more than skill, it demands a new way of seeing. Archimedes struggles until a simple observation changes everything, as he steps into a bath and watches water spill over the edge. He realizes that any object placed in water displaces a volume equal to its own size, and that volume reveals density when compared against weight. He rushes through the streets in a moment of pure discovery, knowing that he has found a universal truth hidden in something as ordinary as water. By submerging the crown and comparing it to pure gold, he proves that the crown contains less dense metal, exposing the deception without ever breaking it. From that moment, he establishes what becomes known as Archimedes' principle, a law that explains why objects float, sink, or remain suspended. This principle becomes foundational to understanding ships, water, and balance itself. Archimedes continues pushing deeper into mathematics, focusing on shapes that others only approximate. He studies the circle by placing polygons inside and outside it, increasing their sides until they nearly become the circle itself, trapping its true value between exact limits. Through this method, he determines that the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter lies between 317 and 31071, achieving the most accurate value of pi known in the ancient world. This approach shows that precision can be built step by step, reducing error until only truth remains. His work expands into 3 dimensions, where he examines how volume and surface relate within space. By placing a sphere inside a cylinder, he proves that the sphere holds exactly 2/3 of the cylinder's volume and surface area, a result he considers his greatest achievement. Archimedes explores curved space further, breaking it into infinitely smaller sections that can still be measured exactly. A parabolic shape reveals that its area equals 4/3 of a corresponding triangle, showing that even infinite division leads to precise results. He studies motion itself, observing how a point moving outward while rotating forms a spiral that expands at a constant rate. This Archimedean spiral becomes a model for growth and motion, appearing in both nature and mechanical design. Archimedes also examines how objects balance, discovering that every object has a center of gravity that determines its stability. When weight shifts away from that center, balance breaks, allowing force to be controlled with incredible efficiency. This leads to his work on levers, where he proves that a small force applied at a distance can move a massive object. With the right balance of distance and weight, he demonstrates that even enormous loads can be moved with minimal effort. He extends this idea into compound pulley systems, arranging ropes and wheels to distribute weight across multiple points. Through these systems, he shows that massive ships can be moved by a single person, turning mechanical advantage into visible reality. Archimedes also develops a machine that transforms rotation into vertical motion, solving the problem of moving water efficiently. A spiral enclosed within a cylinder lifts water upward with each turn, creating what becomes known as the Archimedes screw. This device proves useful in irrigation, drainage, and even removing water from ships, making it one of the most enduring inventions in history. Its simplicity and reliability ensure that it continues to be used thousands of years later. His curiosity extends into numbers themselves, where he refuses to accept limits on how large quantities can be expressed. He develops a system capable of describing numbers large enough to count grains of sand, filling the entire universe, expanding mathematics beyond imagination. Then the world around him changes. In 214 BC, during the Second Punic War, Rome turns its full attention towards Syracuse after the city shifts allegiance following the death of Hero II. The Roman army and fleet arrive under Marcus Claudius Marcellus, expecting a swift victory. Archimedes transforms his knowledge into defense, turning the city into a system of controlled force and precision. Along the walls, he builds torsion-powered catapults that can adjust for different distances, striking enemies no matter how they approach. Roman ships entering the harbor face projectiles that land exactly where they move, eliminating any safe distance. Each shot follows a calculated path, turning the battlefield into a predictable system. He constructs mechanical arms designed to attack ships directly, using levers, pulleys, and counterweights to lift and destabilize them. These devices grip ships off-center, shifting their balance before releasing them into destructive collapse. The ships fail because their equilibrium breaks, the same principle Archimedes discovered in water years earlier. The balance between weight and buoyancy disappears, and the structure destroys itself. Stories spread among Roman soldiers of mirrors, concentrating sunlight into intense heat, igniting ships from a distance. Whether fully real or partially exaggerated, the idea reflects the fear created by a man who seems to control natural forces. For nearly 2 years, Syracuse resists Rome under the control of Archimedes' systems. The Roman advance slows, then stops, as every movement is met with calculated precision. Marcellus studies the defenses and realizes that brute force will not break them. He waits for an opportunity where the system can be bypassed instead of confronted. That opportunity arrives during a moment of distraction inside the city, when Roman forces slip through an opening and enter Syracuse. The structured defense collapses into chaos as the fight moves into the streets. Archimedes continues working as the city falls, focused entirely on a geometric problem. A Roman soldier enters and orders him to move, but Archimedes ignores him, completing his work. The soldier kills him where he stands in 212 BC, ending the life of one of the greatest minds in history. Marcellus later expresses regret, recognizing the value of the man who had held back Rome. After his death, many of his works are lost, destroyed, or overwritten. Centuries later, hidden texts are rediscovered in what is now known as the Archimedes palimpsest, revealing more of his thinking. Archimedes leaves no empire behind, no army, and no throne. He leaves something far more powerful, a complete system for understanding force, motion, space, and number. His principles continue to shape the world wherever machines move, objects float, or structures stand. The city falls, the war ends, and Archimedes remains.